A little bit of what I do. I work as a product manager for military relations, and what that means is that at Wargaming we care very deeply about history and education. It's a core part of our DNA. That's why we put so much focus on the historical accuracy of our vehicles, and that's why we also do a lot of historical and preservational outreach programs. So what I do is build and facilitate relationships between various historical, military, and other governmental institutions and wargaming. And we use those for our development and publishing needs, and in exchange we usually offer support and experience and expertise. So that expertise can come either in terms of direct financial support or as help with acquisition and onboarding. So we've been so far working with a host of museums, and we have very close knitted partnerships with of some of the museums listed, with the Tank Museum in UK in Bovington, which is the largest tank museum in the world, and with them we've done an array of projects starting from digital fundraisers to restorations and repairs of vehicles. Of the more locally focused museums, we've been working with the Samir Tank Museum. They have a wonderful collection of vehicles, and currently we're working on producing historical VR series. So we're hoping that this new technology is going to allow people to gain more interest in history. I'm also going to cut the story a little bit shorter, not to bore you too much, and focus on the institutions we have been working with to make the French cruiser branch happen, and to make it happen in a spectacular and very accurate fashion. So we've been working with the Services Historiques de France with both branches, with the branch located in Châtellerault and the one in Vincennes, and we've also been working with the National Marine Museum in Paris. Recently, we've even sent a development expedition to the Châtellerault archives. They were faced with a tremendous amount of blueprints. On the visit there, they were faced with 120 boxes full of blueprints, and these boxes, they're basically half the size of myself. And there, over the course of 2 weeks, they've found everything, ranging from destroyer blueprints, cruiser blueprints, all the way to the aircraft blueprints. I've had a chance to actually visit that branch of the archives in Châtellerault, and it's absolutely amazing. I believe they have 152 square kilometers of documents there. And they even have a very James Bondy archive with retina scans and everything. Very fancy. I've also asked two of our developers, two of my colleagues, to pick two of their favorites, and one of them you can see here on the screen is the cruiser Azuri. She's seen service from 1934 to 1942, the last of the heavy cruisers built for the French Navy, and one of the best of her kind. I've asked one of our colleagues, Anatoly, to tell me a little bit on how much time he's actually spent on this ship. And the number is astonishing. So one person has spent over 2 months on modeling this particular ship. The ship has over 230,000 polygon triangles and an outstanding level of detail. And what Anatoly told me, that he was surprised with the level of detail based on the blueprints, and for example with the amount of benches on the front deck. And for him, the interesting trivia was that these benches were not your standard marine benches, rather like small romantic Paris benches. The next on the line is La Glissonière. She saw service from 1936 to 1942. By the outbreak of World War II, she was one of the best light cruisers in the world. In contrast to her predecessor, she had both good main batteries and good armor protection. This ship had a team of 2 people work on it, but still they've spent the outstanding 4 months on modeling it. You can also see the high level of polygon count here as well, with over 210,000 polygon triangles on this particular ship. And you can also see the influence of 2 different shipbuilding schools on the ship, the fusion between American and French. Now, before I hand you over to Arthur, we prepared a small time lapse on how our artists and 3D models actually build a ship. So I'm not going to talk too much over it, so you can actually focus on what's on the screen if the play starts. And you can see the progression of man hours and days as the ship modeling starts. And you can see it starting basically from a paper ship to a 3D model to basically a real representation in the game. And we're now at like 200 man hours in production, and the ship is still nowhere near completion. So you can really see the emphasis we put on historical accuracy and on detail and on making sure that our game carries the educational message. Now, before we migrate to art, I would just like to remind you briefly of the importance of the French Navy. It's often forgotten, but for centuries the French Navy has rivaled the Royal Navy, the British Navy, for the #1 spot in Europe, and the French designers have led numerous innovations, ranging from the invention of ironclads in the 19th century to the floating batteries, to the mass use of destroyers. And we hope that these significant traditional roots of the French Navy are going to make these ships even more special for you, and we really hope you're going to enjoy them, and that you're going to enjoy what Art has to tell you about how they actually play the game. Thank you.